I tell people, whoever met my father used to say, man, this old man, 9 years old, is so fast. He's so strong for his age, but he could not do a push-up. So he was not strong. He had the right leverage. That made him strong. And for the people that said, oh my, he's so fast. He was not fast. He was the perfect timing. That's the difference sometimes in between two boxers. Timing. An amateur boxer and a professional boxer, they know the same thing, but the pro have better timing than the amateur. You gotta have the right timing, the right leverage. That makes you strong. That makes you fast.
You're listening to The Hot Wash by Born Primitive Tactical. I'm Bruno Fallon. I've spent my 4-decade career in some of the most elite units in the United States Special Operations community, where I learned that elite operators aren't made overnight. They're forged through hardship, discipline, and relentless drive. In each episode, I sit down with the most accomplished and innovative leaders in special operations, industry, coaching, and athletes of all disciplines. Let's jump right in. All right, everybody, welcome to the Hot Wash podcast. We've got a legend here today. Anybody that needs my explanation of him probably hasn't been alive for the last 40 years. Royce Gracie, the first ever UFC champion, 3-time champion. Just to give you some background on this, Royce you're 58 now, right? Yeah, I'm getting ready to be 60.
Don't remind me. I'm like Peter Pan. I'm going to stay young forever, okay?
Hey, I got you by a year. I'm going to be 60 in 30 days. So, but there's so much here. If I tell you where I really want to go with this, and we're going to get all over the place, but Royce, everybody knows my military background. Before he came to our community, there was no Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Combatives. Everything was stand-up fighting, shooting, bar fighting, knife fighting, things of that nature. And he came into our community. I think my first exposure was in the 90s. And none of us knew what to expect. And you came in, and I just remember them sending guerrillas like me in and getting in with you and being, what's this guy going to do to me? And I was a pretzel. And back then we didn't even know to tap out. Back then you just submitted us so quick. How I really want to start there. When you first came to the military special operations culture, were you kind of blown away how little we were exposed to that and how quickly you transformed our programs?
First, I'm a big fan of you guys. Hey, thanks for what you guys do. Yes, they were so outdated. Our first contact was with the Navy SEAL from San Diego, George Hudak. He was in Vietnam, and he used little guy. He used to bring the team from San Diego up to Torrance to train with us back in the garage days, back before even the UFC. So he used to bring a team once a month. He would come over, spend a day with us. And yes, it was like there was no, everything was I'll shoot, I'll stab, but there was no, but again, I understand on your guys' profession, on what you guys do. But Jiu-Jitsu would help with the confidence, with the decision making. You see, so
you look at it nowadays, how mainstream it is. I don't think there is a combatives program in U.S. Special Operations that doesn't involve the Gracie system of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in it now. And especially, I'll tell you, to me, where it was the most just stand out is when we got to a period of having to do prisoner handling and actually control people and knowing how to control people. We never knew how to do that before.
I met a group from you guys that went to the sandbox and they were saying, last tour, we knock out and choke out more people than we shot. I was like, wow, that's awesome. Because they cannot just come in and eliminate the target. They got to arrest the target to get information. So
yeah, absolutely.
And that's when Jiu-Jitsu came in handy for them.
It comes in handy for everything. It's first of all, the discipline of it. If you look at how many guys in the community have their kids enrolled in it now and start them off very young, just the discipline aspect of jiu-jitsu Compared to like I grew up playing football. I think that provides something for youth growing all the way up. And I mean, you look at your network and your system now; it spans every ages. So
It's we start. I mean, for the young kids, we say develop them. It's going to teach them. It's going to teach them how to be confident. But for adults, it's more like a decision making. It gives confidence too. But you guys don't need any confidence. You guys got plenty of confidence. But it's if
maybe
you get
too much sometimes.
if you get caught in an arm bar, an arm lock, or a choke, you got fraction of a second to figure out where to go to escape. So the same thing, they apply that to walk into a room. You got a fraction of a second to make a decision. So I heard a lot of that from the unit guys.
Yeah, absolutely. The critical decision making process and also operating under stress. Again, these are things that until you're in a live environment, you can't bring out. And jiu-jitsu, one of the biggest things I've noticed in it is that it does accelerate your thinking process under stress, which is a great thing for our community.
Yep. If you ever roll jiu-jitsu, you're like right there. It's like you gotta think fast. Sometimes not even time to think. If you stop to think, you're too late. You gotta react.
I love it. So I'll tell you how long I've been watching you fight.
Don't tell me that you used to watch me when you're a little kid.
No, remember, I'm older than you now. I honestly thought Ken Shamrock was going to beat your ass. When he came out and his, he looked like a freaking bodybuilder fighter. You come out in your white robes. He was beating his chest. He was ready to go. And up until that point in that fighting arena, Ken was knocking people out, and you came in there and man, did you change the whole landscape of MMA, UFC, and everything moving forward? I mean, when you walked in there, you were just so calm.
But even after the first UFC, people were like, "Oh no, there's no way that 178 pound beat a 220 pound build like Zeus, Ken Shamrock.
Right.
There's no way. This is fake." And the second one, that's when really established. The first one, people were like, I don't know about this. It was big time at the time, was WWE or WWF or yes.
Right.
So I asked Ken Shamrock, what did you see across the room when you walk in? See, I asked him that question years later. And he's like, man, I don't know. I saw you. I was like, I'm going to destroy you. I felt sorry for you. He's like, and I'm over here on this side, numb. No feelings, no. When I walk in, I'm not thinking about going to dinner that night. I'm not thinking about party. I'm not thinking about dinner. I'm not thinking about victory, loss, nothing. It's empty mind. So ready to react. That's how I go.
So talk to me about, that was the big stage back then. And again, now you look at UFC and what Dana White and everybody's done with it. It's a big industry, but back then, those of us that followed fighting, that was a huge fight. I just remember watching that and just was like, there's no way. I was on Ken Shamrock's side. I was like, there's no way. And then I started following you and watching you. And then I watched everybody in your circle start taking it over. It wasn't, I'm trying to think, when did you guys?
It wasn't just one single fight. It was 3 fights, 4 fights. UFC 2 was 4 fights in one night. So you win, go back to the locker room, then 15 minutes later, you got to come back out and fight again. And then again and again. So it wasn't
you fought
just
Ken
once.
Shamrock again too. I remember that.
We fought 3 times.
3 times. Okay.
First one, I won less than a minute. Second one was a draw. Third one, I knocked him out.
Yeah. I remember that one. I don't think he saw that coming. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
My last fight, my first knockout.
Yeah, you've got a very impressive record. There's no doubt about that. But I think what you did too is once you establish yourself, that's when the whole Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu system went nationwide here in America. That's when people started respecting it and start training on it. Again, before you proved it in the ring, nobody was buying in. And only people like, I spent quite a bit of time working down in Colombia, and we knew it, we saw it, we were exposed to it, but nobody in the States had seen it back in the 80s.
But it was more of a curiosity that my family had than anything else. Because everybody claims that their style is the best, but let's not step on each other's toes. Karate say they're the best, Kung Fu say they're the best, and kickboxing and Muay Thai, they all say that their style is the best, it's the killer style, would knock everybody out, and grappling wasn't even considered to be a martial art back then.
No, it wasn't.
We're talking about 80s, 70s,
Right.
80s. You never see a wrestling, judo, jiu-jitsu, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu on the magazines. It was all stand-up. So we came in more with a curiosity to find out which style is the best. That's what my family did back in Brazil. A lot of people thought, oh, the Gracies are arrogant, trying to put the other styles down. No, you say you're the best, I say I'm the best. There's only one way to find out. Let's take the time limit, the rules, the weight division, just 2 men walk in, 1 man walk out.
1 man walks out. I was a huge fan. I don't know if you remember him or not. Bill Superfoot Wallace, amazing kickboxer. I want to say in his PKA career, he went undefeated. I don't think he ever lost a fight. And he was who I always followed. I always loved the traditional kickboxer. And then again, you came in and it got pretty interesting with once you had somebody on the ground, all their skills were gone. And then it was survival.
Once we got in a clinch and everything goes, the only thing not allowed was eye gouging, biting. But everything else, do it. Go ahead. Because some of the guys would hidden behind the rules. Wow, if I cannot kick on the groin, I'm not coming in. Go ahead, kick on the groin, no problem.
Right.
I cannot do the death touch. Yes, you can. Go ahead. Do the death touch. It's not gonna work.
So when would you say that your family style was actually accepted and became mainstream? I mean, because it took off once it did.
We've been doing this in Brazil for a long time. Didn't start with me in America. It started with my father, my uncles, my cousins, my brothers back in Brazil. But what happened in Brazil, the world would not see today. It's like even today it's hard to see. Even with the speed of the internet, people don't see what's going on down there. So my brother had the idea of creating the UFC. And when Horton created the first UFC, he knew once America find out, the whole world will find out. So, and that's what happened. As soon as America saw it, it spread all over the world.
It did. It did. Now you've got a lot of people teaching.
But after the UFC, the first one, people are still having doubts, or maybe this is fake. And the second one, that's when people are like, okay, this thing's for real.
And how did that change you and the family at that point in time? Because now everybody wants a piece of it, right? So it really opened it up from not a concept anymore to this is the real deal.
That's one of the questions that as a changing myself, I call my father and I ask him, how do we deal with this, Dad? And he's like, don't let it change you. So I'm the same Hoist, continue teaching, traveling the world, teaching all over the place. I love teaching.
You're teaching tonight.
Yes.
You're up in Maryland teaching tonight. You leave here.
2 different locations.
2 different locations.
One at 3 o'clock and one at 5:30.
You do not stop, do you? No. So when did you make the transition? And because obviously anybody in the ring has a life expectancy is so long before you've got to move on and become in primary teaching. How long were you actually in the ring competing actively?
Ooh, for about almost 30 years.
30 years.
So, but it's like you gotta know when to stop on this business, on this fighting business, because the bar doesn't recover as fast. The mind is still there. I know what to do, but the bar is just if I push in a workout today, tomorrow I gotta take 2 days off to rest, to recover.
No, I can totally relate to that. In our community, I retired at 30 years active duty, and to be honest with you, the mind had another 20 years. It's still ready to go, but the body's done. And you've got to make that stand. You got to let the young guys come in.
I mean, the body's not done. You can do it one day, but then you're going to be like, oh my God, everything hurts the next day.
Yeah, it's not
different. The young kid, next day, he's ready to go again. The body recovers much faster.
It's not the same. So injury-wise today, how are you today physically? Have you fully rehabbed everything? You still got some stuff that hurts pretty bad, or
The way we train. If you watch me training for a fight, you'll be like, "Is that it? Where's the rest?" It's like I tell my sparring partners, my brothers, like, "Dude, just touch my face. Don't hit me." Well, but you got to get used to get hit. No, you get used to get hit. I'm going to get used to hit you. We're made one for another.
Right.
I can't get, it's like you got to get used to get shot.
Right.
No, there's no such a thing. Don't get shot. You see? So I tell the guys, if you watch my sparring session, you'll be like, it's intense, high speed, intense, but at the same time, very careful, very light.
Good.
So I didn't break my body down.
That's good.
I see a lot of the old fighters, they're all broken down now, and man, they can barely walk, and because they push so much on the during training. So
we used to, that was one thing we did notice is in our community, in the Combatives program, we had a lot of, it was all joint injuries, and I'll tell you why. It was usually the inability of your grappling partner to take a wrap off, take it down a notch, and not go too far in training. But we did have a lot of, specifically shoulders more than anything. But I can remember there was a statistic I saw one time on our injuries, and it was between skydiving, fast roping, and grappling. It was like our three main courses of injury out there. And if you think about everything in the mission profile that goes on, but I can attribute the one to grappling specifically to, I can say for a fact, I've been on the ground a few times with guys that did not understand that, like, we're not in a UFC fight. We are not like, hey buddy, we're training, we're sparring right now. And I think that's an important principle. And I know that when you're training people, you teach that.
It's like, you got to know what you're doing. So it's not, you can always increase the violence. You can always increase the power, the speed, but you got to know what you're doing. You got to there's no reason to kill each other during training. That's what we call training. So like I said, the guy will tell the sparring partners, touch my face. If you can touch my face, I take that as a hit.
Got it.
So instead trying to hit me and knock me out, and nah, don't need that. We're training. You touch my face, I'll go, man, I made a mistake. You see, he was able to hit me. That was a hit. I'll consider that as a hit. I'm not going to ignore.
No, I love it. The whole, I don't need to get hit. You're exactly right. I don't need to get shot to realize that's why we shoot paint and simunition and stuff like that.
And you
Same
guys
thing.
are practicing
That's right.
against
Practicing
each other.
the trade. So let me ask you the question for people that are listening that are like, wow, I want to get into that. How would you tell somebody that, male, female, we have a lot of female listeners, and we've got some really badass athletes out there. How would you start with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at first of all, age, and then if you're already an adult, how would you tell them to get started?
I tell them, in anything you do in life, from sports, you got to know what you're doing. From business, you got to know what you're doing. Once you know, it's easy. So go learn whatever it is. Not just jiu-jitsu. I don't know how to skydive. Well, learn. Then you have to have endurance. Because I learned how to swim, but I can only swim for a minute. Oh, dude, you got to have endurance.
Right.
And then becomes power in that order. So if you change the order, you mess up the whole thing.
So endurance before power.
You got to learn. You got to have endurance to be able to, let's play football, but I can only play for a minute, for 5 minutes. Coach, get me out. I'm tired. Dude, it's a 2-hour game.
It's amazing how much of that transitions over to our culture too. I'm one of the, there's guys that are built like me that are bigger guys that don't have the anaerobic conditioning and don't have the endurance, that didn't last long in the community. You absolutely have to have that. You have to have the legs, as we call it, to be able to get out there and go. And then the strength does come later. And I think for me, it was amazing because I started out as an endurance athlete. It was my strength, my true strength did not come until I was in my late 30s. I felt when I hit my late 30s and early 40s, I was maybe not the fastest, but I was definitely the strongest I've ever been. What do you think about that?
But you have to know what you're doing.
That's right.
Again, if you don't know, it doesn't matter how fast or how strong you are, you don't know. So sorry, I don't know how to swim. What am I doing in the water? I'm gonna drown.
Right.
So you got to know how to swim. You got to know how to do it.
Know
So
what you're doing.
That comes first.
Endurance and power. I love that. That's a good cheat code for everybody out there. So if you're a parent and you want to get your children in it, do you think there's a time and age when it's appropriate to introduce them, and just how would you go about that? Because I know some guys that start their kids pretty young.
For kids, we're teaching them discipline, but any sport does that. Sign your kid up for soccer, for football, and he doesn't show up with the uniform, with the right shoes, with the right shirt. The coach is not going to bench him. He's teaching him, hey, you're responsible. It's your responsibility. So for kids, it's more even. It's not people think, oh, I don't want my kid to learn how to fight. We're not teaching them how to fight. We're teaching them how to defend themselves. But above all, we're giving them discipline. That's what Jiu-Jitsu come in play. Teaching them discipline, teaching them show up on time. Mom and dad was late. It's not my problem. It's up to you to talk to mom and dad to bring you to class earlier, to get on time. Forgot my uniform. Well, it's your responsibility. You don't have to talk to mom and dad about, hey, get my uniform. We got to go. You see, be on time.
It's funny you say that. My latter part of the career, I spent as a mentor. And I used to have young guys used to always ask me, what does it take to be successful? And I said, you want to be in the top 10%, always be in the right place at the right time in the right uniform. And you'll be 9 out of your 10 peers won't be able to do that. It's that simple. But if you can do those three things, that's why the speech that Admiral Bill McRaven gave on Make Your Bed.
Yes.
People that don't listen to it and get the context of what he's saying, but it's get up, make your bed, set the tone, and get out there and have the discipline, right? I mean, it's the same thing, right?
We're creatures of habit. So you create the right habit and you're going to win.
I love it.
It's discipline. You have to have discipline.
So would you say, obviously, the skill and knowledge that you talk about and the endurance and the strength, to me, in today's society, in what I see, I think the biggest void is discipline. And we've created a culture of it. It's so easy to sit at home, shop from home, not get out, not train, not sweat, not work hard. So I think discipline is one of the most void things out there right now.
How do you call it when you shoot paper and you shoot metal? The metal is a instant gratification.
Right.
But it's not a placement. On the paper, you can't lie. You got to place the bullet in the right spot.
That's right.
So people got too used to instant gratification today. So they don't have as much as discipline.
And it won't change. I mean, I find myself sometimes, I was just talking with a very, very good friend the other day, and I was like, hey, I'm going to run to the grocery store. And they're like, well, I can just use Instacart. And I'm like, well, what is that? Well, now you can have the stuff delivered to your house. And I think it's novel because the person actually told me that they could have the stuff back to the house faster than I could go get it. But I'm old school.
Me too.
I'm old school.
I have to go.
I want to go get the stuff, right? I'm old school.
Get my own stuff.
I want to pick my own steak, my own vegetables.
I want to pick the one that I will like it.
That's right. But I think when you have a culture like that to where, I mean, it is a convenience. And now I will say this person that I'm referencing is so time-strapped in life anyhow that needs things like that because works nonstop and never slows down. So conveniences like that are created because they're necessary for some people, but some people don't have that lifestyle, so they're not necessary. I want to go back to one of the things we started talking about in the beginning. When you first got exposed to the military special operations culture, I know your team started primarily with the Navy, and then you came over to the Army side. Were you surprised, that there was no knowledge of this fighting system or technique in our community whatsoever.
I was more like they're so outdated. The styles that they're using so from way back in the day, like karate style. So we're like, wow, this is an open market for us.
It truly
we
was.
need to help them.
Well, and man, it spread like wildfire through the community. Guys were hearing about it. Everybody wanted it. I remember being at Bragg one time when you brought a whole big crew in, and by that time the word was on the street. Everybody believed in it, but everybody wanted to see it.
There's a story at Bragg. They just remind me of the unit guys that when I walk in, the first day I walk in, they all buff big guys, and they look at me like, yeah, I can feel the room was like, yeah, whatever. So I was like, who's the toughest one? They brought this guy, big guy, boxer. And okay, do your thing, I'll do my thing. Let's go. Like a MMA. You can go ahead and feel free to hit, and I'm gonna do my thing. Ready? Go. Shot in, took him down, mount on him, choke him out. Anybody else? The room got quiet. I was like, okay.
We're ready to
And
learn.
that was the toughest guy in the building. And I choke him out like in seconds. It's like, they just remind me of that story. And I was like, yep.
that was my experience. Exact same thing. And it was literally, I was the guy sent in there to hurt one of you.
And then they were ready to learn. They're like, whatever you say, we'll do it. Tell us what to do.
Yes. And now, I mean, now you can see how all the programs are that way. There's I believe he's retired now, Admiral Tim Szymanski. Tim was such a good fighter that he actually went down to World Cup something in Brazil to fight BJJ, and he won, but he hurt a guy real bad. And because of that is, we used to call it the Tim Szymanski rule. Everybody in U.S. Special Operations Command was officially forbidden for fighting in the UFC. It was actually written down that like none of our guys could go do it. So guys were getting out. Guys that were talented fighters were getting out and taking their hand
so
at
they
it.
can go fight.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, you can talk about this, but I think that the perception, there's so many gyms nowadays and so many people fighting. It's just like anything else. It's like the NFL. It's like world-class track. It's like bodybuilding. There's a million gyms. There's a million people that think they're good. And then they get with the people that are good and they realize that they're not good. They're average.
But you guys, the unit, the Rangers, you guys are elite athletes right there. What you guys go through every day, the lifting weights and the running, and you guys are top athletes. Give a little bit of knowledge, my God.
It is a mindset.
You have that, you have the athleticism, the mindset, and then you learn what to do. It's like, yep. It's a bad combination for the opponent.
It is, but the ethos and the mindset, once the guys learn it, but it's also a skill that's transferable now. I know a lot of folks that have gotten out and are working with law enforcement now, are working with female spouses, things like that, self-protection. And it's interesting to see, especially from a submission type point of view versus, again, the old styles. To me, I have a running joke. I used to be the guy, if I saw a guy like you, I'd be like, I'm gonna knock him out. Now I'm the guy through experience that I look at him, I want nothing to do with you. And to be honest with you, that's what they make guns for. If it gets to that point, So today you're training twice. What is your future and your path on how long are you going to keep doing this? I mean, this is your passion. So
I love it. I love traveling and I love teaching. I put both together. So I don't mind traveling all over the world, teaching the art of, I was just in Bosnia and somebody asked me over there, how many countries have you been? So I stopped to count. It's 62.
62 countries. All teaching.
All teaching.
I love it.
Thanks to Jiu-Jitsu.
That's good. I think the last couple of times I've run into you is at SHOT Show.
SHOT Show,
yeah. Running around out there.
I love that place.
Oh, yeah. It's Disneyland and stuff.
It's more to say hi to friends than anything else.
Right.
So I go from booth to booth saying hi to old friends of mine and from the community.
Awesome. Are you working a lot with law enforcement these days?
I do teach law enforcement, military people. Majority is martial arts schools, but yes, I do teach a course for the law enforcement, and I teach the instructors, and they go home and teach their department.
So we have quite a bit of our listeners are in the law enforcement community. This podcast is really tailored towards special operators, law enforcement, first responders, and then people that follow those cultures. If there is law enforcement agencies out there that would like to get with you, how would they do that? How would they send their lead instructor to get trained by you?
They can go to my website, Royce Gracie. They can find me on Instagram.
Okay, let's talk about Instagram. This is funny. So
Instagram. I'm always getting in trouble on Instagram.
No, I'll throw
my
this out
son
there.
is the one that he's the damage control.
No, the thing with Instagram, if you type in Hoist Gracie in Instagram, there's about 300 of them. You are real Royce.
Real Hoist.
Real
yes.
Hoist. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's funny because the first time I went to look you up, and this is when I have never been on Instagram till about a year and a half ago, and I came to Born Primitive, and now it's kind of cool because I can see what you're doing, see what you're at. And then, hey, I'm at SHOT Show 2, let's connect and things like that. But I was like, which one of these? Because they all look official.
There's a bunch of fake ones, yes.
Yeah, well, I can only imagine with you because there's fake ones on people that aren't even important. So I can imagine someone like you. Hey, this is Bruno, and you've been watching the Hot Wash by Born Primitive Tactical. Please don't forget to like and subscribe our podcast. And thanks for watching. Now back to the podcast. So the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu family.
For the law enforcement,
yes,
going back to them.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to teach them how to fight. The beauty of Jiu-Jitsu is I can hurt the opponent if I want to. I don't have to. I can subdue somebody without hurting them. That's why I fall into the law enforcement category very well. They love it because they don't have a boxer, for instance. Either they hit the guy, knock him out, break his nose, break his teeth, or he doesn't hit the guy. With Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, I can control, subdue the opponent, arrest the opponent without hurting him.
I think that's the important thing for them. If you watch and you see them on Instagram, so many law enforcement officers just trying to handle a suspect, a prisoner that can't even control the person, and the person gets away from them. And some of them, unfortunately, you see that person takes the gun away from the police officer. I think the control methods.
We teach a lot of that, gun retention, not to lose your gun during the fight.
That's huge. Yeah, that's huge because you go from being the armed police officer to being unarmed, and now they have your weapon.
But again, Jiu-Jitsu, if you know what you're doing, and we're so used to grabbing, and people grab you, and so I know where your hands are. So I can deal with that. I can maneuver you around. I can, put you in positions, uncomfortable positions that you cannot, I would say, I just tie you up in such a way that you get all tied up like a straight jacket. You cannot move and just hold the person down.
Well, when my whole crew that I introduced you to in here, I was like, I like to use this term. I said, Hoist is the type of guy that'll just make you a pretzel. He'll fold you up into a pretzel. So
pretty much, but that's why law enforcement loves it.
Yeah.
Well, for the army is a different. They use for jiu-jitsu for different. For like I said, for decision making. For little kids, it's for discipline. You see, so everybody have a different. For adults, male, female is for confidence. So not because we're teaching people how to fight, people think, oh, I don't want my kids to learn how to fight. We're not teaching people how to fight. We're teaching people how to defend themselves.
And I think that's huge. And I think we do have a lot of female listeners, and we have actually quite a few female ambassadors with us too that are familiar and do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But it's one of the biggest things I can say is there are some control measures that can really help you for the dude that puts a hand on you, inappropriate, this, that, the other, where you can immediately respond with a force that lets them know this is not acceptable.
And be alert of your surroundings. That's the main thing for females. It's like not let the bad guy, the bad person get too close to you, it's already a bad decision. So
We just
keeping them away from you.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother can of worms. We just did a video that we're getting ready to put on both Instagram and YouTube on situational awareness for females. And prior to doing the video, we sat in a parking lot and we were watching women come out of this hotel and out of this mall. And every single one of them had their cell phone in front of their face and was oblivious to the vehicles around their vehicle, what they were walking into. And they could have been walking into a situation. And the area that we were doing this in was Southern Arizona, one of the highest kidnapping areas in the country. And it's situational awareness. If you can see the event before it happens is absolutely huge. And then if you have a response measure to the action.
If you see it, you never let it happen. It's like arguing with somebody. You start arguing with somebody. I put my hands up. I tell people, pretend it's cold outside. Whew. Oh, it's so cold. Put your hands up. You already avoid the person from hitting you, from swinging a punch. Instead, keeping your hands down, you're inviting the person to swing a punch at you.
Right. The old saying, your hands in your pockets tells everybody you're not ready.
Yep.
Right. So let me ask you this. If you were to take you got the average dude that's in college that's listening to this. It's like, I'm going to take this up. How, if he has got the discipline and the fitness level to get into it, how long?
Even if you don't have fitness level, people I don't want people to think, well, I got to be in shape to start jiu-jitsu. No, you don't. It's about knowledge.
Right. Knowledge starts with the discipline. Gotcha.
Then we'll get you in shape.
How long do you think it would take to take somebody from the street to being not getting ever in a ring, but capable of defending themselves?
Every time you practice, you get better. You're better than yesterday. So in everything, every time you go to the range, you're better than yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
You put more time in practice. Sometimes you don't see, oh, I didn't improve. I didn't learn anything new. But your timing got better.
Your timing and also your knowledge is always key. You know, it's the same thing. We talk about dry fire and we talk about all these different things that can make you more successful. The only way it's a thing I use in fitness. The only way to get better at push-ups or pull-ups is to do push-ups or pull-ups. You've got to do that specific exercise. It's the same with BJJ.
Same idea with
right?
martial art, with jiu-jitsu. Yes. You just got to show up. You got to put the time. So if you show up one day, if you show up 2 days, you're better than yesterday. And the third day, you're better than the day before.
So when you look today at MMA and you notice that very rarely, now, I mean, obviously you've got some great strikers out there, but most matches are determined on the ground when the two guys are wrapped up. I think we've fully transformed to where jiu-jitsu is now. Well, you can even see some fighters don't want to stand up fight. They want to get to the ground as soon as they can to start using technique.
I mean, on the beginning, back then, was one style against another style. Let's see we're curious to find out if our stuff really works. So it was a style against a style. Today is more of an athlete against an athlete. So they both know the same thing. They both knows how to throw punches, kicks, the takedowns, and the submissions. Everybody learned the same thing. So it became they're playing against the rules now. Who walks more forward? Or who attempts to do more takedowns? Sometimes the fight is boring, nothing happened, but who attempt to do more takedowns? That's the person who's going to win. So there's a time limit. There's rules. So that's the difference. Sometimes
so being the aggressor,
I would say it's not the best fighter that wins. Is you see who have the best strategies sometimes. So
got it.
To find out who's the best fighter, who have to take the time limit off, take the weight division off, let them go.
Just let them go. Just let them go.
Because sometimes the guy's a very good fighter, but he's a slow starter. On the 5th round, he grows on the fight. Well, the other one win the first 4 rounds because he's explosive, but he's dead on the 5th.
He's done.
So it's hard to judge. with the rules.
Are you training anybody that's currently getting in the ring right now? Are you physically working with any of the mainstream fighters?
No, I don't have the time.
You don't have the time?
That takes a lot of time. This for one person, for one purpose. I travel too much.
I'm sure you get
I
asked.
enjoy life, traveling the world, and I like to teach kids. I like to teach the average Joe out there, the average person.
Do you still watch the fights?
I watch the championships. I like it because they're the champions. They have to have strategy to get there. You see,
it's extremely. I mean, if you follow the sport, it's extremely elite once they get there.
It's not the guys that come in and duke it out and trying to be bloody and don't call my attention. I like the guys that knows how to use strategy and get to the top, and that's why they're the champions.
Love it. Love it. So when did you decide enough in the ring and to stop competing and to transition primarily to training? How old were you?
35, 37. I was like, man, the body doesn't recover as good anymore. It's time to start to slow down a little bit. Fight once a year, maybe.
That's 20 some years.
Yeah.
Of now you've made that full transition.
Yeah. Slowly I start to slow down and just teaching more than fighting. So, but fighting went about 30, 38, 39, I think was my last fight. No. Yeah.
Yeah, because you came back. I mean, I remember after UFC, you were doing Bellator. What was the other one you were? There was
Pride in Japan.
Pride in Japan. That's right.
K1, yes.
That's
Dream.
Right.
Which shows in Japan.
Yeah,
then I
those
went back
kicked
to
off pretty
Bellator
well too.
Yes.
Yeah, you went for a while there. What was your last fight?
That was about 10 years ago. Yeah, with Ken Shamrock.
Yep.
I was like, that's what my last fight, my first knockout. I didn't even want to fight anymore. I was like, I don't want to do it, but they keep insisting, pushing and pushing. And
those two names.
So I was like, you know what? Fine, let's go. One last one. But I was already done. The body's hard to recover.
Right. Do you stay in touch with him?
No. We see each other. I run into him at SHOT Show, actually.
Okay. Got it. Yeah.
We say hi.
It's a great meeting place. So
yes.
Are there any fighters that when you were actively fighting and you were watching them, are there any fighters that you looked at their style, their discipline that you really liked?
I mean, that I like? Not really, but they're dangerous? Yes. All of them.
Who are the ones you thought were the biggest danger? Like
all of them. All of them. Because they're all bigger than me. I'm 175, 178, 180, 178, 180. They're all 220 plus.
Yeah, they're big.
So and I was like, man, if they hit, I'm gonna get some damage over here. I'm gonna get hurt. So do not this thing. I'm not afraid to get hit. Yes, I am afraid to get hit. Duck. I don't want to get hit.
Love it. I love it. Well, and you've got some of the fighters nowadays. It seems, and I think it's the natural progression of man. You look at everything. You look at football. You look at hockey. You look at MMA. Guys are getting big.
They're much better athletes. Not even just big, but the technology to help on the training is so much on the cutting weight and how to recover. My days, there was no ice bath. You put a bag of ice, that's it. Today, they use ice bath and cryo, and the technology is so much better.
It's insane right now. We were having this discussion. So I came in the military in 81, and I don't think we even used hearing protection until probably the late 80s, and that was foamies. There was no such thing as a Peltor for sound protection and comms for years. And then you
comms back then was Scream.
Oh yeah. And you look at everything going on now. I just had a doctor on here. We were talking about operator syndrome. I cannot tell you how many explosive breaches or even weapon systems. Like when I went through the Special Forces Weapons School, dropping, hundreds of mortars, recoilless rifles, all the impact and the blast and everything. There was no accountability for the effect on the body back then, where now the science is there. Hell, I didn't even see, now you see soap in the military bathrooms for getting the lead off your hands, for after shooting and stuff like that. None of this stuff existed for like 25 years. And, our whole generation of guys looking at the guys now and be like, man, it'd been nice to have that. But I think the point I'm trying to make is that through time, that when you professionalize human performance, which has been done in MMA, which has been done in the military culture, you walk into these training rooms now and you walk and see organized training, and you're exactly right. Guys doing transitions with cold tubs and saunas and having trainers and getting active therapeutic massages and
strength coach and the diet and what to eat and what to make it
never existed before.
Better and faster and stronger and recover better, and everything became mathematics now. So
it's to a point where it's so regimented, especially as these guys get closer. And I don't care what the competition is. It could be a UFC fight. It could be, bodybuilding. If you ever, who I compare you to, I love listening to Arnold Schwarzenegger's story of how he came up, grew, and kind of modernized bodybuilding and where it's at now. Again, different time, different place, but you look at the stuff that the guys have now, it's game changer.
Same thing with fighting. So the guys a punch is still a punch, a right hand, a jab is still a jab, a right hand is still a right, a roundhouse kick is still the same roundhouse kick, but they can do it faster, more power because of the training, because of the technology.
Yeah, guys, like I said, guys have gotten out of our community to go fight, specifically targeting the UFC, and go become professional MMA fighters because they already had the mental aptitude and the discipline, and they were already athletes. So now they wanted the skill. And they get in these camps, and you see these guys a year later, and they're dangerous. It's a different breed right now, and that's why I think when you go to a UFC fight now, the level of guy that's getting into that ring now, like you said, they're dangerous.
Better.
Yeah,
much better.
Yeah, and then it becomes.
It's not like the guys when I used to fight, like Bill Superfoot Wallace, for instance. He was great in karate. You see what he did. But today, the guys today are much better, much faster. Same thing in jiu-jitsu. There's young kids over there that start very young. And
the multiple disciplines. Where Bill Wallace was one-dimensional. He was a PKA fighter, stand-up kickboxer. I would compare him walking into a ring with a guy like you of as soon as he puts himself in that awkward position and you get him on the ground, it's over. I mean, it's a transition at that point. And that was always me too. I started out as a stand-up boxer fighter, and the first time I ever had a guy like you make me a pretzel. Well, the thing it gives you is respect. You're like, how did this man who weighs 50 pounds less than me, who is not imposing to me, like I thought I was going to dominate this guy, just do this to me and do it so fast. And then
without hurting.
And then 3 minutes later, he does it again because I come at you a different way and you don't care. You've seen it.
Subdue you without hurting you. That's the magic. That's the trick that keeps everybody intrigued, man. How did the guy beat me without hurting me?
Right. It's almost to the point where some of the stuff, and again, when I first started learning it, all we were doing was trying to slow video down and see how it happened because it happens so fast. And you're like, how did this actually happen? And the biggest thing I realized for myself is I made myself vulnerable, and you would immediately see the vulnerability and jump on it, and it was game over.
I tell people, whoever met my father used to say, man, this old man, 9 years old, is so fast. He's so strong for his age. But he could not do a push-up. So he was not strong. He had the right leverage. That made him strong. And for the people that said, oh my, he's so fast. He was not fast. He was the perfect timing.
Precise.
So that's the difference sometimes in between two boxers. What's the difference between two boxers? Timing. An amateur boxer and a professional boxer, they know the same thing. But the pro have better timing than the amateur.
Right.
So you got to have the right timing, the right leverage. That makes you strong. That makes you fast.
I also think the reps. You talked about it earlier. The one thing I can tell you in my business is the more you do stuff, the more it slows down. I've even heard baseball players talk about, you stand in there and you're trying to hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and you don't even see the pitch. But baseball players, it slows way down for them because they're so used to seeing it because of all the reps. I think that's the same with fighting. I think that it I won't say it slows down because it's very violent, it's very fast, but you see everything ahead of time.
It goes for every sport. It goes for everything. It's like you're used to it. You get so used to it. I was just at the range yesterday and 2 days ago. And the guy was like, yeah, Navy SEAL, I can see the trace of the bullet. I was like, dude, how can you see? I cannot see that. But he's so used to it.
Seeing it.
And he's like, man, I see the bullet
It's
traveling.
funny,
I was like, wow, I'm trying, but I can't.
I don't see the trace. But then again, he doesn't see what you see. So it's all what you're used to seeing, right?
It just slows down the time for everything. You start to learn how to see it like Matrix.
Right. There you go. It's a great analogy of it. What do you have out there left that you as an individual would love to do? Besides teaching, instructing, and passing the knowledge, is there anything out there that you'd love to do?
I want to hang around long enough to see my kids grow. They're already grown men and women, but I hang around to see where they go with this, where they go.
I like that. Yeah. So in August, I'll be 60. And my
You're
lifestyle.
way older than me, by the way.
Wait, I think I'm only a year older than you.
Way older.
I don't know about that. I think we got a year, buddy. But I honestly, at one point in time, thought seeing 40 would be a challenge with what we're doing, the lifestyle, work. And then it's kind of funny for me now. I have transitioned from strength, combative, speed to longevity. I'm really working hard on longevity right now and trying to stay around. And again, I like to keep my power and my size and my physique up and all that. But everything I'm doing now is for the long game. I've noticed
as long as you're healthy,
yeah,
you reach that long game.
So let me ask you this: I never would see doctors till like 5 years ago, and now unfortunately I'm having a bunch of buddies pass from different things. A lot of it I think is environmental stuff from our tours overseas, but now I'm one of those guys where I actually go see doctors. I'm worried about the long game. I'm the same way. I would love to see. I've got a granddaughter. I would love to see her as an adult. Where before I didn't care. So I think we have the.
But I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Hey, been there, done that.
Yeah.
Went around the world a couple of times, few times.
More than a couple. More than a couple.
Several, yeah. So, but I can hang around, see where they go. It'll be awesome.
Do you ever do any?
But for the long game,
yeah.
One thing that, how do you say, you are what you eat. So we watch a lot what we eat, the way we eat.
To talk, we have had a bunch of nutritionists and stuff on here. Are you on a specific diet? Do you base anything off it?
We have what we call Gracie diet. Once my uncle Carlos learned Jiu-Jitsu, taught to his brothers. Once my father took over Jiu-Jitsu, Uncle Carlos became a nutritionist, worked with letters, numbers, names, and food combination. It's not exactly a diet, it's more of a eating habits, the food combination that we use. It's not to lose weight, so it's not a diet. So it's not, you end up losing weight, but it's more towards, I can't afford to get sick. So I try to, and principally with the traveling schedule that I have, traveling all over the place, one day in each city, one day in each country. So sometimes I do get a cold here and there once a year, but it's to avoid that. It's to avoid the getting sick. So it's towards an easy digestion, because you can eat. For instance, when do you get sick? When you're stressed with the house is not selling, the kids are having problems at school, and and somebody crashed into your car and all kind of problems in the business, and you're not sleeping good and you're working out, your immune system is very low, and then you eat what I call a typical Thanksgiving meal that after you eat, you go, oh my God, I think I ate too much. I gotta sit down on the couch and take a nap over here watching football. And you fall asleep and you wake up and you have a cold. And then what do? You blame the cold weather or the hot weather outside. You blame the air conditioning that was on or the fan was on top of you, not the food that you ate, because you're running on low energy, and you put that heavy meal, and the little energy that you have left over go to digest that meal. That's when zero is your body. And when you get zero, that's when you get sick. But you blame everything else besides the food. So we're always trying to watch it where we combining the food towards an easy digestion. That's the easiest way to explain.
So do you, is there something, I mean, are you on a specific diet or carnivore or pescatore? I mean, do you like fish? Do you like red meat? Do you like chicken? I mean, a lot of vegetables. What is your daily like consumption?
We eat everything. We just combine towards an easy digestion. Okay. Like for instance, typical American meal, a burger with French fries. If I eat the bread, I would not eat the potato. The two starches will make a heavy digestion. So it slows you down, gets you sluggish. And it's like, oh my God, I'm so tired now. No, either I eat the bread or I eat the potato, not both together.
Gotcha.
So, but we eat a lot of fruits at the house. Pretty much breakfast and dinner are fruits. So lunch, when we have the cooked meal, we call.
Do you do any type of supplementation or anything like that?
We eat a lot of meat because we hunt, we fish. So my house, all my kids, we're all big hunters, but we hunt to eat. So not just to kill the animal. We don't, If I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna shoot it. Oh, yeah. With my bow, with my with my rifle, with my knife. We're gonna bring it home and eat.
So do you do? I really dive into the nutrition and the longevity. Do you do blood work and look at your blood and stuff like that? Or you just totally go off body feeling?
I know my body. So now if I feel something is wrong, I'll go have check, but I haven't been at a doctor's office for a long time. But I know my body. I know.
But I feel the same way. I was getting ready for a major competition about 2 years ago to try and become a pro in something. And everybody else was using a nutritionist, and I did my own nutrition.
You're becoming a pro in something?
Yes.
In what?
I actually competed in a bodybuilding competition.
Okay.
And here's the crazy numbers on this. And it was shown to me that the amount of this particular, it's called the IFBB, which is the big league. That's like Arnold and Jay Cutler and all those. That is the big league in professional bodybuilding. And when you compare the amount of people that every year are trying to get a pro card versus the amount that are given out, it's like 5 times harder than the NFL as far as that many people competing for that few pro cards. And I ran my mouth to somebody. I was at a competition, and I said the people look like shit, and that person was like, let's put your money where your mouth is. So I completely changed the way I trained. I stopped training as an athlete, and I sized up and learned how to pose and all that kind of stuff. And I just did it to prove a point. But the whole reason we're talking about this is the nutrition. Everybody pays these nutritionists, and 90% of them are doing these cookie cutter, one works for everybody. And I know my body. I know what made it tick. And I dialed my nutrition in so well that to this day, over there at Naval Special Warfare on the DEXA scan, I was 57 years old when I did this competition. I still have the lowest body fat DEXA scan at that command over there. And if you think about the operators and the guys that are there, that's pretty good. But it was interesting because it's the only thing I've ever done in my entire life that I was competing for an aesthetic look versus performance. And that's not who I am. I'm a performance guy. So I did it, got it dialed in and everything. But the one thing I realized, particularly in that sport, is that I think that everything they do to get to that pinnacle, to get that stage, it's probably one of the most unhealthy sports that's out there because
Really?
of where you take your body. Like I was wrecked for a while after it, and then I got myself back and started training and conditioning. I'd much rather be an athlete. I'd rather have that anaerobic threshold and be able to do things that I want to do than just have the look,
They look good.
the look good. I think if you train as an athlete, and you eat, that's where this business, Born Primitive, our owner Bear, a huge following of CrossFitters, and some of these guys and gals. I was just down in Florida with some people that were doing some CrossFit. Their anaerobic threshold, their strength, it is off the charts. But you can tell the ones that hit the nutrition, you can tell the ones that don't by their physical appearance, because it shows.
It's the food helps with the long game.
It absolutely does. It's your performance. It is the long game, and that's what you and I are looking at right now. I cannot believe in under a month I'm going to be 60 because it scares the hell out of me. I mean, I have to say it out loud because to me, like my parents, when they were 50, they were old, and now I'm going to be 60.
Hey, I got a 28-year-old at home, my oldest son, and we talk like we're brothers.
Yep.
He's not my son anymore. He's my brother now.
I love that. I love that. That's good. Is your son heavy into jiu-jitsu?
I have one that's the oldest one. He's black belt. Guys, black belt, fought professionally for Bellator. Teaches full time now.
Okay.
And my youngest one is Army Rangers, 3rd Bat.
Yeah, I love that. 375. So I'm sure everybody is like, your dad's who? Your dad's who? But that's awesome, right? I mean, and that is, how long has he been there?
5 years.
Yeah, that to me on the Army side, the Rangers is the place to start. You want to talk about discipline, making you a soldier. Those guys, they take somebody off the street and they mold them into somebody really good.
Oh, he's a beast right now. He's jacked, man. It's like,
is he?
All he does is train, lift weights, and yep.
I love it. So I'm going to ask you, is there anything out there in the world besides teaching that you have on the radar that you would love to do that's a bucket list? Maybe somebody's listening and be like, oh man, we can help them do that. Is there an animal you want to hunt, a mountain you want to climb, a jump you want, a skydive you want to do? Is there something, or have you hit them all?
Been there, done that. I hit them all. Just doing a second or third time around.
I love it.
It's from jumping with you guys in San Diego, jumping with the unit, and yep.
That's awesome.
Scuba diving, and
we got to get you in a 160th helicopter and get you flying around. So ask your son about flying with the Night Stalkers. He'll tell you all about it. So that's where you need your next ride. So game changing. Instead of doing 120 miles an hour towards the earth, you're doing it across the tree line. So a little bit of a different perspective, right?
At night
with the goggles, with the boys in the back. It's the ultimate. That's the one thing I'll tell you. It's the ultimate trust factor between the guys flying and the guys in the back, because if you put them in, you're going to go get them back out. And I call it a bond that was created in blood, and it's one that will endure forever. So, any questions of me?
Man, I'm a big fan of you guys. Yeah. What you guys do.
I'll tell you,
it's like the whole special units. You guys are professional athletes. It's like, and easy to coach, easy to teach. Do it. You done. You get it done. You do it. And you don't stop repeating. Do it until I say stop. Enough.
Yeah, and I hope you know that when you walk into any of the units with a resume like yours, everybody flips the whatever this guy says I'm going to listen to. But to be able to get into the units and have that kind of reception, you've got to have a standing like yours. There are so many people professing so many things. We talked about nutrition, fighting, So many people are experts, but the ones that have actually done it like yourself and proven it over and over are the ones everybody wants to get trained by. So, I mean, to me, if somebody said, hey, I'm going to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from Bob down the street who owns a studio, or, hey, we got Royce Gracie coming in on Friday, you'd have 3 people at Bob's class and you'd have every single unit member at yours because they want that wisdom. Even if they don't get on the mats with you, they want to hear it.
But one of the hardest things that I ever done was the swim across Tampa Bay. with the Navy SEAL Foundation. I did that about 3 years ago. Well, as soon as we moved to Florida, my son and I moved to Florida, near Tampa, Sarasota. So they met some of the guys and they're like, hey, let's go. We're going to spend the day at the beach. I was like, sure.
They didn't tell you what you were doing?
Well, we're going to swim. I'm thinking, sure, I can swim. He's like, yeah, sure, let's go. Yeah. Well, you better swim a few times in practice. I was like, I had no idea what I was getting into it. It was like, sure. I keep saying, yeah, sure. It's easy. Go went to the pool like half a dozen times, swim a few laps. Yeah, I'm good. It's like, well, you got to put a wetsuit on. It's going to be cold. I was like, okay, fine. I'm okay with the wetsuit. You got to drag about 60, 70 pounds behind you. It's like, sure, no problem. It's like, yeah, it's going to be about 3.5, 4 miles. The way I swim is, I think everybody swim 4 miles. I think I swim 6 because I swim like this.
Left, right.
I swim like that. I don't swim straight. So, but that's not a problem. That's mental. Dragging the weight, not a problem. The bag, not a problem. Mental. But the cold weather, my God. They forgot to tell me how cold it was going to be. I was in the trailer, in the RV, and I was freezing already before I even get in the water. I was like early in the morning. I was like, yeah.
Here we go.
It was a long day.
Something you need to look at. So we're, as a company, we're big sponsors of tactical athletes right now. We've got people competing in the tactical games, which is the biggest one. We're a sponsor of what's called the Patriot Games, which is in Florida. And then we're also working with...
Where in Florida?
So there's one this coming Saturday in Immokalee, which is in the Everglades, but up close to you, it's probably an hour and a half away. In September, there is one in Tampa, but in September, there's one in Palm Bay. But the Patriot Games has, I think the Tampa one they already did. But it's pretty amazing because it's a combination of, I would describe it as hybrid fitness / CrossFit meets shooting. And what's really good about it is like, let's say you have to move a 60-pound bag and throw it over obstacles, and you have to go up and back 3 times. Then you have to take 5 precision shots. Well, they ding you on the precision shots time for every miss. So you can't come in there as a superstar athlete if you can't shoot. You can't come in there as a world-class shooter if you're not an athlete. You have to have the blend. So to me, if you think of the MMA culture 25 years ago when people were turning it into a profession, professionalizing it, and that's where a tactical athlete, the tactical games is getting right now. It's impressive to watch. We've got one female athlete that we sponsor. Janae is the 2-time national champion. And if she was sitting in this room, boy, she's like you, quiet, subtle. Then you flip the switch on for competition, and she is a lion. And she's amazing. Like to watch this young lady put out. But it's a whole new genre of game. I'm actually going to be this Saturday down in Immokalee, Florida, and I will be in September at the Palm Bay Games. But it's interesting to watch, and I think that we are going to, within the business, form a team up and compete next year. I'm going to compete as a team and masters both.
You got to send me the dates.
Yeah, we got to get you. We got to get you out there.
Yep. I'm thinking my son and I, yep.
Yeah, just come
He loves to compete. He loves to watch it. Yep.
You guys would love it. I'll make sure you have the information. But it's a whole new sport, and it's catching on fast. And the reason we love it, we're talking about performance and mindset and all that, and cold tubs and this, that. You know what makes us different here is we're the only ones that took uniforms and designed them for human performance. everybody else is still wearing the older stuff. And we made stuff specifically designed for the tactical athlete. And that's why we're winning and nobody else is doing it. And it's interesting to see because you go to these competitions and everybody getting on the podiums wearing our stuff tells us we're winning. So we love it.
You got to send me the dates for sure.
I will. I'll make sure you have them and we'll get you set up there. And you, what I would suggest, just like anything, come see one first and then you need to come compete in one. It'd be fun. You can compete against me in the matches. Just don't choke me out. All right. Well, folks, we're going to wrap up. Hoist has got to literally get in his car and go
drive 3 hours.
Drive 3 hours, train some people, drive again and train some people. If you're listening to this, please don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe to us because that's how we get podcast guests like Hoist. But a couple things before you go. We have a tradition. We work with a company called Montana Knife. And I'll tell you, Josh Smith makes some amazing knives, and this is one of his tactical knives. This is a War Goat, and it's designed specifically as a small carry knife that, when time goes bad and you don't want to submit somebody, you can defend yourself. But from me to you, here's this knife from Montana Knife. And then more important, we have a tradition in the military, which you're familiar of, with coins. And you got to be a podcast guest to get this coin. So, boys, thank you,
By
brother.
the way, every time you give a knife,
yes,
you know you have to give a coin, right?
You have
Any
to.
kind of coin.
You have to.
You know why, right?
Yes. Tell everybody.
Because it doesn't doesn't cut a friendship.
That's right.
The knife will never go through the
coin.
The
knife will never go through the coin. So. Doesn't cut the friendship. I love that.
This one's, yep.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Hot Wash by Born Primitive Tactical. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow us at Born Primitive Tactical. I'll see you next time.